Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com. Do you know how when you go to college football games and there's like a big band sitting on either side of the stadium, at various points they would play little snippets of things to accompany the various plays and whatnot, especially at football games? And the opening of Carmina Burana, O Fortuna, is a very popular snippet. You know, they go wa da da da, ya da da da, ya da 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 da, and then they stop, and then someone kicks something or throws something, or something happens, and then they do it again, and it's supposed to pep us all up. Well, who knew that there exists an entire band arrangement of a good chunk of Carmina Burana? It is the suite from Carmina Burana, and it's right here on this Naxos CD from the Peabody Conservatory Wind Ensemble, which is my alma mater. At least the Johns Hopkins University part of the Peabody Conservatory was my alma mater, and under the direction of Harlan D. Parker. And you also get the Bird Serenade for Winds. His first name was Arthur Bird. And we get Reed's La Fiesta Mexicana, which is one of the iconic band pieces. Actually, his whole name was Herbert Owen Reed. Usually it's H. Owen Reed. For some reason, band people have initials. The only one who didn't was like the most famous of them all, Frederick Fennell, right? But for some reason, the rest of them all had initials, and so does this guy. It's Harlan D. Parker, and there was H. Owen Reed or Owen H. Reed, or, you can arrange the names and the initials however you want. Anyway, the suite from Carmina Burana is the feature thing here. And it is really a little bit bizarre because, well, it doesn't consist of the whole thing. You get, let's see here, you get O Fortuna twice, like you do in the real piece at the beginning and at the end. And then you get the second number, Fortune Plango Vulnera. And then you get, you skip a couple, and you get Ecce Gratum, which is, Ecce Gratum et Optatum, that one. And then you get, let's see, the dance. Well, that's just an instrumental number. So great, we just get the instrumental number. There are two of them, actually. In this case, you only get one in this suite. And then you get Floret Silva Nobilis. And then you get the end of part one. It's sort of a band piece anyway. Wer du Welt alle Mien. And then things get a little bit sort of confused, because then they skip to Amor Volat Undike, which is the beginning of part three. Part two is in taberna, in the tavern. And then they go back to in the tavern for Ego Sum Abbas, which is a terrible arrangement, which doesn't work at all. It has it's like a euphonium or a trombone solo or something like that, taking the place of the vocal part, and, portraying the drunken abbot. When it just sounds terrible. I mean, without the words, it really does. And I don't know why they picked that number. There were a bunch of others they could have done. And then you get In Taberna, which is the climax of part two. And then they jump all the way ahead to In Trutina, which Barbra Streisand sang. In Trutina, da da da. You know how it goes. The bottom line is, I'm very surprised that they did not pick some of Circa Mea Pectora. That would have been good. The ones that have, lots of contrast in terms of sections, because after all, most of these things are just strophic songs. They just repeat themselves. And they don't do Tempus est Iucundum. I can't understand that one. I mean, they should have done it. It's got all kinds of contrasts of range and verse and refrain. The refrain is oh, 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 totus floreo, iam amore virginali totus ardeo, novus, novus, novus amores, quoperia, quoperia. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Tempus est Iucundum, Tempus est Iucundum. Oh, it's just wonderful. I don't know why they didn't do that one. And then they do Dolcissime. Again, that's just a soprano solo. They do it with a woodwind solo. It sounds okay. but it's a really high stratospheric solo, and it really sounds great on a soprano, and not so great when it's played by something reed instrument. And then you've got Ave Formosissima and the return of O Fortuna. That's the suite from Carmina Burana. Now, they don't have any voices. And you know what's kind of fascinating about it? When you hear the opening, if you know it really well, you sort of hear the voices anyway, even though they're not there. It's a tribute, really, to Carl Orff's word setting, that the music is so familiar. It sounds as if the vocal parts are almost built in. It's a fascinating phenomenon. Here, I'm gonna play you O Fortuna, so you can hear exactly what I mean. Here it is. Now, die-hard Carmina Burana fans may have noticed that the arranger, who is the arranger here? Wait a minute, let me tell you who the arranger is. John Krantz has mucked with the percussion parts, and I think rather tastelessly. I mean, putting a glockenspiel on top of the vocal line at the big loud part. I mean, I think that's so tacky, and cymbal crescendos for no reason at all. I mean, Orff was a master at writing for the percussion section. I mean, just leave what he did there, for heaven's sake. And you can, if you want to do things with range and register and color, and okay, but not that. Anyway, he does a lot of that, and it annoyed the crap out of me. Still, it's a good performance. It's plenty of fun. And like I said, I mean, if you want some good instrumentals, like for ringtones or for other purposes, this is like a great thing to have. It really is. Now, the Wind Serenade by Bird is charming. It's in the vein of like Dvorak's Wind Serenade. It's scored for basically double winds plus, that's two flutes, two oboes, two clarinets, two horns, a bassoon. That's basically what it's written for. The notes, by the way, are totally wrong. They leave out the oboes, which are the first things that you hear. I'm going to play you a little bit of the opening because it's just delicious. Here it is. just charming wind music. It was written in 1898, and it's nice to have. And finally, we get Owen Reed's, or Owen H. Reed, or whatever his name is, La Fiesta Mexicana, which is, like I said, just an iconic band piece. Everybody does it. Everybody has recorded it, including Frederick Fennell, who did it like about 65 times. He did it with the Tokyo Kosei Wind Ensemble. He did it with the Eastman Wind Ensemble. He did it with every wind ensemble, the Lone Star, whatever they are. I mean, he did it with everybody and recorded it with everybody. So it's not like we need another one. And I have to say, this performance is good, but it doesn't compare to the great Fennells or some of the other like really majorly established band performances that I've heard and that are out there. But it's a very good performance. And the novelty, of course, is to have the Carmina Burana thing there, because this is really kind of fun. And, I don't know whether it's successful or not. I don't think it matters. It's kind of a curiosity. You just have it, and then you can play with it however you want. So once again, we're talking about the Peabody Conservatory Wind Ensemble under Harlan D. Parker. Don't forget the D. That's how you know he's a band guy. And it's on Naxos, and it's just tons of fun. So keep on listening, folks. Thanks for joining me. Take care.